And I find it to be ugly and chopped. Looks strange too. Like it all just looks very haphazard. But a Vegas residency is going to be a bloodbath for all of us.
It's the hot hits of Nic and Loren around Australia. I thought there was no other person that we could get on to talk about The Life of a Showgirl, the brand new Taylor Swift album coming October 3rd, than literally the internet's most revered, sometimes hated, sometimes beloved expert on Taylor Swift. The Swiftologist, Zachary, is here. Swiftologist, we thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be virtually in Australia today.
Yeah.
Tell us, first of all, your current vibe on this current day. We're playing this the same day we're talking to you. How are you feeling about the lead up to The Life of a Showgirl?
I'm excited about it. I think that Taylor's been typically coy about exactly what we're going to receive. It seems that she's continuing with her trend of no lead single, just throwing everybody into the deep end with an album coming out entirely at once. And I'm curious about what's in store for us. I am wondering what we're going to be getting.
Yeah, so are we. Do you think we will get a lead single before the album comes out? Because I've felt like, especially when the countdown started, I thought the countdown after the actual album announced, I presumed that was going to be the single, and then obviously it wasn't, and then every other countdown hasn't been, and then we've got this, engagement announcement in the middle of it all. Do you think we'll get a single?
No, I don't think so. I think that she is kind of burned from the last time that she actually had a lead single, which was 2019 with Me. And I think it gives people too much time to come up with think pieces and opinions about what the album is going to be before it comes out. We know that Taylor loves to control the narrative. So I think we're going to be waiting a long time for this. Now, there is the possibility that she's going to show up at the VMAs and do something, but I have a feeling that will just be an appearance, maybe like a debut of her first official red carpet appearance with Travis, but I don't anticipate a single.
Do you think there was anything, when the engagement announcement happened last week, did you read anything into the timing of that? Do you think that this was getting it out of the way before the album drops? Was there anything in the date that it happened?
Or the brand launch, was it American Eagle?
Yeah.
With Travis, yeah.
Anything you read into with the engagement?
I think Travis and Taylor now are kind of like two sides of the same coin, like press for one of them is press for the other. So having the GQ cover come out, announcing the new album on the New Heights podcast, there's an integration of the two brands. So I think any press is good press for both of them at the moment. And it seems to me that they weren't going to be able to sit on that secret for long if they were engaged. It would eventually get out, right? But I don't think that it was a surprise to Taylor that it came at this time. And I'm sure they had a process in place for how they were going to launch it. And it's good press for the album, especially if we're not doing interviews and we're not doing singles, then, an engagement will get everybody excited.
I see Taylor and Travis going down sort of the same way as Jay-Z and Beyonce. They kind of become this corporation together, and maybe their relationship sidesteps to that at some point, and they just become this team. Do you see that kind of happening for them, regardless of their personal life? They're just going to become this big brand?
It's an interesting question because I think that Jay-Z was much more of a mentor to Beyonce at first. They were a power couple for sure, but there was a long time where Jay-Z was kind of the revered end of that spectrum. Taylor and Travis obviously do completely different things. Jay-Z and Beyonce are in the music industry, so they have similarities to compare and ways they can bolster each other. I think with Taylor and Travis, obviously they appeal to two completely separate markets and demographics. There is overlap, of course, but I think that Taylor is definitely doing the heavy lifting as the power in the power couple.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that Travis Kelce dating literally anyone else would make him 50% of the world's biggest power couple.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be quite as equal footing as that.
I need to talk to you about the cover art for a second. The main cover art this is. You are famously not a fan. Can you explain?
No.
Can you explain what is happening in that cover art that deeply upsets you so much?
I think it's the typology. The font is a remix of the Red TV font and something else that we don't want to see. And I find it to be ugly and chopped, to be honest.
Have any of the variant covers impressed you anymore?
I like the variants. I just hate the font. I love the pictures, but every time I see the font on it, I'm like, this is disgusting. So I like many of the pictures. It's a great shoot, but the font is just too repulsive for me. Sorry.
I hate a repulsive font. I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's kind of looks like it's out of a letter, like a ransom letter.
Yeah.
Kind of has ransom letter vibes to it.
Like that
and
hideous
the random cutouts looks strange too.
Like
It all just
hideous-
looks very haphazard.
That new font that Instagram tried to put out on their stories, that disgusting
foul thing.
drip.
She's foul.
Yeah, it looks just like that.
Hey,
good job, Taylor.
Talk to us about variants for a second, because we had a conversation on the show the other week that we feel as if variants, and especially those being put on sale very quickly with no kind of warning, especially for younger fans, presents a couple of problems for me personally. I think first, it's kind of environmentally wasteful, and second, it sort of puts an onus on super fans who want to feel like the biggest Taylor fan to spend spend potentially money that they don't have on these things with very kind of fast turnaround. How do you feel about the kind of amount of variance that first came out with Tortured Poets and now coming out with this album?
Well, first of all, I think everyone needs to be reminded that Taylor Swift is not your parent. She does not control your bank account. So if you don't have money, don't spend it on her albums. That's stupid. You need to exercise self-control if that's a worry of being the biggest Swiftie in the world. You must own everything. But I think, the variant thing is kind of like not an issue to me anymore. I've critiqued it many times with Taylor doing it. And if she was doing it egregiously in comparison to like other people in the industry, then I would point it out, which I think I did with Tortured Poets and also with Midnights. That to me was the most annoying example of her doing variants because there was no standard back cover and it was all in the aims of creating this stupid clock. I found that to be extraordinarily wasteful. The Life of a Showgirl, if you can believe it, has actually been pretty restrained compared to her last forays into variant culture. And every single pop star, even the ones that claim to be like more environmentally friendly, such as Billie Eilish, are doing the same amount, if not more variants. So it's kind of like a necessary evil, I suppose. Do I think that it's incredibly wasteful? Absolutely. Should Taylor be doing it? No, but no one else should be doing it either.
Yeah.
Do we think we're going to get, we're sort of feels like the Eras tour is just finished and it feels like we're sort of all still recovering from that time. Do we think we'll get a tour that goes with this album or do you think she's going to bank them for an Eras Part 2?
There has been a lot of speculation about a Vegas residency. And I think that the date is kind of fortuitous at the moment. Like if it lined up with the Super Bowl, she could do like an announcement of a residency at the Sphere. The Sphere has its last show with the Backstreet Boys ending in February too, which would kind of line up nicely for a Super Bowl announcement and then a tour following. I could definitely see her doing more of a residency rather than a tour. Something that she keeps talking about is the physical demands of the Eras tour and how intense it was. So being in one place, I think would really alleviate a lot of that harm that is done onto her and allow her to live more easily and comfortably. But a Vegas residency is going to be a bloodbath for all of us because getting tickets for that is going to be a nightmare.
Could you imagine?
It's going to be a shit show. Have you been to the Sphere yet, Zach?
You better start imagining. No, I haven't been to the Sphere. It's kind of a cursed place to me. I don't really understand how you can take in all of that stimulus at one time, especially with Taylor. But it does give the opportunity for her to do something really cool and really unique. Yeah. So I would love to see what she would be able to come up with that.
Yeah. Have you seen that they're currently playing The Wizard of Oz there? And not only is it the film, they're also blowing air and shit around when it's the cyclone. I'm like, that looks like a sensory nightmare to me. Like that just looks so
That's too much. Yeah, that's scary to me. We don't need 4D.
No.
Bring back concerts that feel like real concerts, please. There's something I want to ask you quickly. I moderated a panel about Taylor Swift fans and the culture of Taylor Swift a few months ago with 4 creators who were very big Taylor proponents and Taylor fans. And I'm a massive Taylor fan, but I'm not sort of on their level. And what I noticed, I asked this one question. I can't remember what it was about. I think it was about the jet and how much fuel she was using, blah, 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 which I've kind of changed my mind about now. I asked it and they said, well, we don't care because, she's perfect to us. And the whole crowd applauded. And I found that deeply troubling. What I've always really appreciated about your content and your take on your favorite artist is that it's very measured and very nuanced and that you really think about this person and her contribution to culture. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. How important do you think that is for Taylor Swift fans and for fans in general to be sort of, have something in the back of their mind and not always be kind of glossing over the kind of negatives of being a major pop star?
I think it makes you smarter to think critically about things that you like. It's actually more difficult to critique things that you do like because you're inclined to support them anyway because you have a bias or a feeling of positivity. But especially when it comes to like a pop star, that is someone whose public presence is like entirely at will engagement and they are a little bit at the mercy of their fan base. So if you really want them to change their behaviors, there is a way theoretically that you can go about asking them to do that by using your voice in a way that is, powerful. I don't think necessarily that pop stars are like slaves to the audience. They don't have to follow everything that you do. But I also think that they're like resilient figures who benefit a lot from parasocial relationships. So, critiquing them from that same perspective is something that is good and worthwhile doing, just because otherwise we're just in an echo chamber blowing smoke up someone's ass all the time. That doesn't really seem like a positive development in our collective consciousness. So practicing discernment, I think, is a good idea for any fan because fan behavior can make you feel a little crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like any kind of love like that, Some people should piss you off. Relationships should piss you off. Parents should piss you off. Children should piss you off. Your idol should piss you off. You're allowed to be pissed off by them. You can still love them. It's fine.
Right. Most of life happens in the gray area.
Exactly.
Black and white stuff is not interesting or realistic. And social media has really encouraged us to like think in these very polarized terms, which I think is why I piss so many people off because they can't figure out where to put me. It's like, are you a fan or not? And I am both a fan and a critic. Two things can be true.
Yep.
You've made me think a lot about it because Lauren's been very cognizant of conversations I've been having this year about what my place is. And I've always looked at myself as a platformer. I platform the stuff I love and I don't talk about the stuff that I don't like. But the more I think about the way that you're doing the work and Fantano's doing the work and my friend Sam, who's Pop Sam Cam, is doing this kind of work, it's starting to resonate to me more and more. And I think there are very few people like yourself who are doing this perfect balance of still caring and loving music and having it mean something personally to them, but being able to professionally critique it. There is kind of a drought of that at the moment, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's also difficult to put yourself in a position where you are willing to critique stuff because the fan reaction to even the most mild critique can be so overblown. It can be a little scary at times.
Yeah.
And I always find that the most banal things that I say are what really trigger people to do the most demented behaviors.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it is kind of hard to like understand what your place is there. And you have to kind of be okay with rattling people. If you want to talk about pop stars in any sort of like critical capacity whatsoever, you're going to get blowback. And if you can't handle that, you probably just shouldn't do it.
Hell yeah. Zach, you're a superstar. Thank you so much for spending your time and your expertise with us today. And when are you going to bring your podcast to Australia?
We're trying to bring it to Australia in the beginning of 2026. We're wrapping up the Snares tour. So stay tuned for more information on that.
Excellent.
Do it. Zach is the Swiftologist. You can find him, of course, everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. They're the places I follow him at least. Thank you very much, Swiftologist. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.